You're doing everything you were told to do, the degree, the job, the direct deposit every other Friday, and you're still checking your account on a Tuesday morning with that feeling already in your chest before the screen loads. Not broke exactly, just never as far ahead as the math should allow. You're not alone in that, but being in good company doesn't explain why it keeps happening. There's a name for what's keeping you there. A cycle built to consume everything you earn before you get a chance to think about it. Understanding the consumption trap is where this starts.
The trap doesn't announce itself. That's the whole design. It starts the moment the first real paycheck lands. Not with a bad decision, with a feeling. The feeling that you finally earned something. That the years of school and applications and entry-level everything have added up to this number. And this number means you can now live like it. The apartment gets a little nicer. Not extravagant, just better than the one you had in college. The car gets more reliable. The groceries shift from whatever's cheapest to whatever you actually want. The wardrobe updates slowly, one reasonable purchase at a time. None of it feels like overspending because none of it is dramatic. It's just life adjusting to match your income. Then the raise comes. Maybe it's $4,000 a year, maybe $5,500. For a few days, the number feels significant. And then the same thing happens again. Quieter this time, almost automatic. The lifestyle absorbs it. The rent goes up, the car payment increases, the credit card that was almost zero creeps back up because there were 3 months where something unexpected hit and the card was just there. Within 6 months, the raise is gone. Not wasted, not blown on anything you'd be embarrassed to name, just consumed cleanly and completely by a life that expanded to meet it. This is lifestyle inflation, and it doesn't feel like inflation because every individual step felt earned.
Here's what the consumption trap actually costs, not in any single month, compounded forward. Every dollar absorbed by a lifestyle upgrade is a dollar that stops working for you permanently. It doesn't just disappear in the present, it disappears in the future too, because it never got the chance to grow. The $300 a month that went into the nicer apartment at 24, if it had gone into a low-cost index fund instead, would be worth something meaningfully different at 34. Not because of discipline, because of time and compounding running quietly in the background while you were busy living. The consumption trap isn't about lattes. It was never about lattes. It's about the structural drift that happens when your spending rises in lockstep with your income year after year, so that no matter how much more you make, the gap between what comes in and what stays never actually widens. Currently, the average American household carries over $10,000 in credit card debt. Not because people are reckless, because the trap is the water everyone is swimming in, and nobody mentions the water.
My name is Jude. This video is a story. 2 people, same starting line, 1 decision, 10 years of divergence. Subscribe and hit the like button if this one lands. Let's follow both paths.
Their names are Derek and you. You both got hired the same week at the same mid-sized logistics company in Columbus. Same starting salary, $54,000 a year. Same onboarding packet. Same gray cubicle on the 3rd floor with a window that faces the parking garage. From the outside, the starting line was identical. Derek gets his first paycheck and does what feels natural, what feels earned. He leases a 3-year-old Chevy Silverado, dark blue, monthly payment of $510. He pulls into the parking garage on a Monday morning, and something about that feels like proof, like evidence that the grind was worth it, that this chapter is different from the last one. The truck says so. People notice. They always notice. You get the same paycheck. You set with it a little longer. You're still driving the 2013 Toyota Camry you bought used during your last year of college. There's a crack running across the bottom corner of the windshield that you keep meaning to fix. You park it in the same garage as Derek's Silverado, and you feel the gap between the 2 vehicles like a physical thing. Not shame exactly, just a quiet awareness that from the outside, this doesn't look like progress. But you open your HR portal that first week and do something Derek doesn't. You set up 2 things.
First, you contribute enough to your 401k to capture the full company match, 4% of your salary matched dollar for dollar by the company. Free money sitting in a footnote of the benefits email that most people on your floor deleted without reading. Second, you open a Roth IRA and set up an automatic transfer of $150 every payday, 2 days after your direct deposit hits, into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. That's it. That's the whole decision. Nothing dramatic happens after that.
No confirmation that you made the right call, no moment where the math suddenly becomes visible. Derek keeps pulling into the garage every Monday in the Silverado. You keep parking the Camry with the cracked windshield next to it. At the company holiday party, someone asks Derek about the truck and he talks about it for 10 minutes. Nobody asks about your Roth IRA. Nobody ever asks about your Roth IRA. By 26, you've been at the company for 2 years. Derek got a $4,500 raise last spring and moved into a 2-bedroom apartment across town with a gym in the building. His raise absorbed cleanly into a life that expanded to receive it exactly the way the trap was designed. Yours went somewhere different, half into the upgraded 401k contribution, the rest into a small buffer in a high-yield savings account currently earning around 4.5%, money sitting still but not sitting dead. From the outside, Derek is winning. He looks the part. You look like you're standing still, and in most of the ways the people around you measure standing still, you are. But something is happening underneath that nobody at the company holiday party can see.
Nobody handed you a manual, not in high school, not in college, not in the onboarding packet at the logistics company. The closest anyone came was a senior HR coordinator who mentioned the 401k match during orientation, almost as an afterthought, somewhere between the section on vacation accrual and the section on parking validation. Most people in that room were still thinking about lunch. The framework most financial advisors start with is the 50-30-20 rule, not because it's complicated, but because most people have never applied it with any real intention. 50% of your take-home pay covers the essentials, 30% covers the life you actually want right now, 20% goes to your future self automatically before you touch anything else. That last part is the one that changes everything, not the percentages, the order. Most people save whatever's left after everything else. Whatever's left is usually nothing. Flip it. The 20% moves on payday. Everything else works around it. The ceiling is built by 5 things that work quietly in the background once you put them in motion. First, compounding. Your money earns returns, those returns earn returns. Given enough time, the math stops feeling incremental and starts feeling like something else, like the work is happening without you. Second, time, the one input in this entire equation you cannot buy back at any price. Every year you wait is a year the compounding doesn't run. Third, leverage, not debt, systems, automations. Index funds that track the entire S&P 500 without you selecting a single stock. Tools that multiply your decisions without multiplying your hours. Fourth, ownership. A paycheck is income that stops when you stop. An asset generates income on its own. The wealthy accumulate assets. Equity, index funds, ownership stakes in things that keep producing value while they sleep. Fifth, taxes. A Roth IRA lets your money grow completely tax-free. A 401k reduces your taxable income today. These accounts are doors built directly into the tax code, and most people walk past them every single year without noticing they're there. None of this is secret, it just never gets taught to the people who need it most.
Nobody prepares you for how quiet it is. You set up the automations, you flip the order. Future self first. The 401k is capturing the full company match. The Roth IRA transfer runs 2 days after every payday without you touching it. You're doing the thing, and life just continues. The same third-floor cubicle, the same Tuesday morning stand-ups, the same parking garage where Derek's Silverado sits 3 rows over from your Camry with the cracked windshield. Nothing announces that you made a decision that matters. Nothing confirms it. The money just moves silently, and the world around you acts as if absolutely nothing happened. At a birthday dinner, the conversation moves the way it always moves in your mid-20s. Who just closed on a condo? Who made senior associate? Who is doing 2 weeks in Colorado in March? You say you're doing fine. You watch their faces settle into polite interest and then drift somewhere else. There is no version of, "I've been maxing my Roth IRA contributions into a low-cost index fund that lands at a dinner table the way a condo does." You go home feeling something you can't quite name. Not failure exactly, but a specific kind of smallness that comes from moving in a direction nobody around you can see. This is the lonely middle. Not a montage, not a turning point, just years of correct, invisible decisions stacking quietly on top of each other while the world keeps rewarding the people making the visible ones.
Then the stress test arrives without warning. It's an ordinary Thursday morning when the calendar invite appears. All staff, 9 a.m., no agenda. You already know. Everyone already knows. By 10:30, you and Derek are both carrying cardboard boxes through the lobby. Same email, same severance, same Thursday that neither of you saw coming. But the moment you reach your Camry and set the box in the back seat, you open your accounts and the number sitting there, quietly built, never announced, never once mentioned at a dinner table, gives you something Derek doesn't have. 9 months. You have 9 months of runway. Derek takes the first job he finds. He doesn't have a choice. The Silverado payment is due in 9 days. The rent on the 2-bedroom hits on the 1st. The credit card he's been carrying, the one that started as a backup for emergencies and quietly became the thing that covers the gap between what life costs and what he earns, is sitting at a balance he doesn't look at directly, somewhere around 24.99% APR. He applies everywhere at once. He takes a role at a smaller freight brokerage for 13% less than what he was making. He tells himself it's temporary. It might be, but he had no runway to find out. You take 9 months. Not 9 months of panic, 9 months of actual choice. You turn down the first offer because the role is a lateral move into a department with no real trajectory. You pass on the second because something about the hiring manager in the final round gave you a specific feeling you've learned to trust. You consult nobody on this because nobody around you has ever been in a position to make that call. You just sit with the number in your account and let it do what you built it to do. The job you eventually take pays 9% more than the one you lost, and something has shifted that you can't quite articulate yet. Not confidence exactly, something quieter, a steadiness that comes from knowing the floor is there. A few months into the new job, you open your investment account on a Sunday evening, not because something prompted you, just because you haven't looked in a while, and there's a number on the screen that stops you. Your monthly contributions across both accounts total $380, but last month the portfolio generated more than that entirely on its own. Not from anything you did, not from any decision you made that month, just from the compounding that has been running quietly in the background since you were 24. Through the birthday dinners and the parking garage Mondays and the cardboard box Thursday and the 9 months and all of it, your money made more money than you put in, without your labor, without your attention, without you. That is the tipping point, not a number on a scoreboard, a ratio, the moment the portfolio starts doing more work than you are, and once that ratio tips, it doesn't go back. You are no longer just a player on the board, you built the board. What that actually means doesn't arrive as a revelation. It arrives on a Tuesday night, 7 months later, when your phone rings and it's your mum, and your dad is in the hospital 2 states away, and they don't know yet what it is. You hang up and open your laptop. You book the next available flight, not the cheapest one, the next one. You find a hotel 4 blocks from the hospital and you reserve it open-ended because you don't know how long you'll need it. You don't check your account balance before you do any of this. The thought doesn't occur to you.
You sit in that waiting room under the fluorescent lights for 5 days. You are completely present. The logistics don't touch you. The money handled every problem money can handle, quietly, without requiring anything from you in the moment you needed to be somewhere else entirely. That is what the Tuesday morning transfers were always for. Not the portfolio balance, not the 9% raise, not the 9 months. This. The freedom to show up completely when it counts, because the floor you built on 100 ordinary paydays held.
You didn't out-earn Derek. You didn't out-hustle him. You just understood something earlier, that the decisions nobody sees are the only ones that actually compound. The 401k form that took 15 minutes, the Roth IRA transfer running before you woke up, the 9 months you built in silence before you ever needed them. None of it had an audience. That's exactly why it worked. Pay attention this week to when the upgrade presents itself. The newer phone, the bigger apartment, the thing that would make the Tuesday feel more like winning. You'll feel the pull. That pull is the consumption trap still running, still designed to catch the people trying hardest to get ahead. The knowing doesn't make Tuesday easier. The transfer still runs quietly. The Camry is still in the garage. But here's the question that now belongs to you. When the floor gets tested, will it hold?
If this landed, hit that like button and subscribe. Every week I put out the real stories and real mechanics behind building wealth, the version that doesn't have an audience while it's working. And if you want to see exactly what Derek and Yu's diverging paths look like in numbers, what consistent contributions actually compound into over 10, 20, and 30 years, the video on what $100 a month does over 40 years maps that math from the very first payday. That's right there. I'll see you in it.